Hi everyone, I'm Adela Sanchez and I'm actually doing my strategy presentation on Round Robin. To describe it a little bit more, it's just a simple cooperative learning strategy or structure. It covers much content as possible, and it also encourages team spirit and incorporates writing in many subjects. So the way you do this is you grab students in groups of 3 or 4. Now sometimes our classrooms might be larger, so our groups will be larger, but ideally 3 or 4 is best. The teacher asks a question or a problem that has multiple answers or solutions. In the team, students each take turns answering orally. I have seen it where they actually have a piece of paper and they're passing it around. If the student's answer has already been said, they acknowledge what they have the same and they paraphrase it in their own words. So ideally, it's just to get them to conversate, to get them to talk to one another, to describe how it is they got to their answer. This is one example right here. As you can see, the dots would be the students or the learners, the table, and the paper. Ideally, you can have them do orally, or you can have them pass a piece of paper around. This is one example that I found. It's a teacher displaying a picture and asks what are the various food chains found within the ecosystem of the picture. One student writes a food chain on the piece of paper and then passes the paper to the other members of the team. Students continue to pass around the paper until a teacher stops the activity or until the group runs out of answers. What grade level and subject? I really like this strategy because essentially it could be used from all subjects, and it could be used from first grade all the way into the upper grades, depending on the complexity of the lesson and what we'll be discussing. So for example, our first graders, it's a great way to have them think about, okay guys, go ahead and talk to your partners or into your group tables about who's in our community, who consists of our family. And then they could take turns answering, well, our mom, our dad, our brother, our sister, our grandpa, our grandma, even the cats and dogs. Again, I just believe that it's the complexity of what they will be discussing. If you want them to write it down, or if you don't, you could always make it harder. What are some of the benefits? You use this before introducing a topic to activate prior knowledge or making connections. You create positive peer discussion, allow all students to contribute to the answer, an opportunity to force language output from all learners. This is, I feel that it's a very good strategy, especially for our ESL learners, because sometimes, because they are already having English as a barrier, they can always hear out from their peers. Sometimes they're more comfortable talking to their friends and to the teachers, or talking out loud in front of everybody. So once they're in these small groups, they're engaging, they're talking, and they can always bounce feedback off of each other. Like, hey, I'm trying to say this, how would I say it? In different scenarios. How can I implement this strategy? Specifically, I could use it in any lessons, but I would want to choose it, for example, in a math lesson that I would be creating. With having them rotate the different vocabulary words and their meanings. So I would have them, I would give them a list of vocabulary such as mode, medium, and range, and have them take turns answering orally, or having them write it down and explaining it in their own words. Sometimes I did find that you could actually use graphic organizers in this round robin, although ideally it's meant for them to be talking and to discuss with one another. Another way I could use it is by having them solve word problems. Because they do have multiple solutions to arrive to the same answer, you can see what strategy works for each student, and maybe that helps one of the students that didn't know. ESL learners or English language learners, I found that this works best. And these are my references. Thank you guys.